2023's edition of the Rugby World Cup will be taking place at 9 different venues across France. And here they are. We start off in the nation's capital at Stade de France, which is both the home of French rugby and the largest stadium in the country. No prizes for guessing where the final will be held. One of the stadium's more impressive features is the lower tier of seating, which can retract to reveal a running track underneath. I know what you're thinking, how is that relevant to this event? Well, it means that even though it was designed with athletics in mind, the 80,000 plus fans are all relatively close to the action. Stade Velodrome. As the name suggests, this place started out hosting cycling events, but those days are well and truly over. It's now a modern rectangular stadium, one that is completely unique both inside and out. That is partially due to the fact that it wasn't all built at once like you'd probably expect just by looking at it. For the longest time, most of the seating was left uncovered, and the distinctive wavy roof canopy that sort of follows the curves of the pre-existing stands was only added in 2014. I definitely think the interior looks a lot better than the outside. Parc Olympique Lyonnais. This huge roof that resembles a jagged gemstone from above is more than just aesthetically pleasing. It was specifically designed to maximize crowd noise. It's actually one of the largest roofs in the world, as it extends a long way outside the seating bowl. Speaking of the seating, it's looking even more French than Stade de France itself. But of course, this red, white and blue represents the local football club, rather than France. Which means that the French president can't just come along and replace the blue seats with some slightly darker blue seats on a whim. Stade Pierre-Mauroy. Sorry to keep talking about roofs, but this is the only stadium in the country that features a retractable roof, excluding the main venue at Roland Garros. That doesn't really count. Speaking of tennis, another aspect that sets this stadium apart from the rest is that it hosts tennis on a regular basis. One half of the field is able to lift itself up and slide away to reveal a tennis court or perhaps a stage for concerts underneath. That's not really going to be useful during a Rugby World Cup, but it's so cool that I just had to mention it. Stade de Bordeaux. If there's one word to describe this building, it's stadium. But if there's another, it's white. But the third would be elegant. Particularly the exterior, which features dozens of columns that support the roof that once again extends a long way outwards from the seating bowl, protecting you from the rain before you've even entered the stadium. Inside, they've kept it pretty clean and simple. However, in stark contrast to the all-white exterior, they've gone a bit mad and added a bit of light grey into the mix to spice things up. Stade Geoffroy Guichard. Having opened in 1931, this is the oldest stadium that will be used at the World Cup. Not that that matters, it's obviously been renovated numerous times over the years. The most recent one was prior to the 2016 Euros, where, amongst other things, 2 new stands were built. Due to that mix of old and new, it's probably one of the more characterful venues that we've seen. Yet the design is still pretty cohesive. So yeah, it might be old, but it might be my favourite of the lot. Stade de Nice. Just like the biscuits that bear the city's name, this stadium is rather nice. But unlike the coconut flavoured, sugar-coated baked good, this is actually French. I guess I should stop talking about biscuits and mention some of the unique architectural features here, including the exterior made up of a wood and metal lattice, wrapped in a clear membrane that lets in light and keeps out water. Basically the opposite of a sewer, which is of course a good thing. Stade de la Bourgeois. Up until a few years ago, this stadium was a dead man walking. It was set to be demolished and a new stadium was to be built on the same site. But I guess the warden called off the execution because it's still here. It was renovated rather than demolished. These days, the stadium is equipped with seats that are done up in a vivid green and gold. A fine colour combination in my opinion. Would you agree, Johan?
Yeah, I think it is, especially if there's like mostly green with just a little bit of gold.
Not so sure about that. What about you, Kevin the Kiwi?
No. Everything needs to be black. All black.
Stadium de Toulouse. This is situated on the island of Ramia in the middle of the Garonne River and was actually originally built to host another World Cup, the 1938 Football World Cup, but it wasn't finished in time. The design was supposedly partially inspired by the old Wembley Stadium, and I can see that. It's got a symmetrical seating layout with a wraparound roof and some similar exterior features. Perhaps that's why they called it Stadium de Toulouse rather than Stade de Toulouse. I guess the French don't hate the English after all. And those were the 2023 Rugby World Cup stadiums. Please consider subscribing if you're new, and as always, thanks for watching, have a good one.